guys, welcome to another mobility session. Okay, so for today's mobility session, you're going to need a chair and we're going to focus on our upper body. Okay, so find yourself a chair and come to seated. So really simple to begin. We're just going to start with an inhale and a shoulder shrug. So breath in, bring the shoulders up to the ears, and then breathe it out. And then again, inhale, draw the shoulders up. And exhale, good. Now taking that into a little shoulder roll, so bring the shoulders up, rolling them down and back. And again, inhale and exhale, good. Now changing that forward, so inhale, draw them up and exhale. Good. Last one, inhale and exhale, good. From here, we're going to take one hand on top of the other, just gently pressing the arms forward. You're going to bring your chin towards your chest and round through the upper spine. So really press the hands away from you. Good, open all the way out. From here, we're going to bring your right ear over towards your right shoulder. Now, if you can, you're going to try and hook your hand underneath your chest. So left hand is going to hook under, left shoulder wants to think about pulling down, and this right hand is just going to come across the top and just gently increase that stretch down the side of the neck. Good, nice and easy to release, and then change that over. So bring the ear over to the left shoulder. Right hand this time hooks under if you can. Don't worry if not, but if you can, hook it under, and then bringing this left hand over the top. Good. And coming back to the center here, excellent. Okay, so nice and simple from here, you're going to open the arms as wide as you can, shoulders pulling down. Now from here, you're going to come to a right angle, so you want to bend your lower arm up, bring the elbows high, so don't want the elbows too low. Now from here, we're just going to go into your internal rotation, so you're going to slowly drop the hands down, but you're going to keep your elbows exactly where they started. So what I don't want to see here is you moving your arm from your elbow joint. I want you to think about moving from your hands, so keeping your elbows still and just moving into that external rotation through the shoulder, so squeeze the shoulder blades, and then internal. But as you're doing this, what we're trying to stop is movement happening in your torso, so closing the ribs, don't allow your rib cage to flare apart. So just nice and easy, pressing the hands down and then pressing the hands up. Just take your time. Good. One more to each way. Okay, so we're now going to start into a little slide to open through the chest. So squeeze the shoulders back, but again, don't let the ribs flare apart. Close the ribs together. We're going to slide the hands and reach up as high as you can. Try and bring your thumbs together if you can. You want to try and get your biceps by the ears and straighten the elbows, but here close the ribs. Okay, that's the hard bit. And then from there, you're going to slide the elbows down, pull the shoulders down, open the chest, and you want to try and bring your elbows towards your waist, but not letting your hands come in front of the body. So if I don't control through the center of my body, this is actually quite an easy position. If I then try and close, so I'm having to work through the front, it's actually quite difficult. So keep the abdominals squeezing and slide the arms up. And we'll be able to tell in a bit whether you've been cheating on this one, because we are going to do this on your front and your back. Okay, so it's going to translate into a few different positions. Obviously, this is the easier of the two, because you've got no restriction through the front or the back of the body. Good, last one. Excellent. And then just release in there. Great job. Okay, so we're going to come up and off the chair, and we're now going to start to come into a little bit more of a thoracic stretch. So we're going to start with straight arms. So hands come on top of your chair. You're going to get your elbows straight and move your hips back, and then just slowly dropping your chest towards the ground. So try and stick your bum back, drop your chest through the arms. Good, and slow to release. Good, just round the back. Shuffle yourself in, and now you're going to take your elbows on top. You're going to do the same thing, so you're going to pull back, drop your chest down, but bring your hands to the center of your back. Try and keep your elbows as narrow as you can as well. Don't let your elbows flare wide. Good, so really push down through the chest, open through the thoracic spine. Good, and slow to release out there. Excellent. Okay, so we can remove the chair now, just placing over to one side. And then we're going to come down onto our back. So take your time from here. We're going to lay ourselves down. Now, in this position here, I want you to have a little think about your back position. Okay, so what I don't want to see when you're doing this is your back arching and your ribs flaring out. So that's what I was talking about when we were seated. I want you to close your ribs together and I want you to press your back to the floor. Now in this position here, I want you to open your arms wide and I want you to bend through the elbows so the fingertips face up. So I'm back to that 90-degree angle. Now keeping that connection through the center, I'm going to open back, keep the rib cage pressing down, and then I'm going to open forwards. So I'm nice and easy through that rotation. Don't force anything, but really think about the control through the center of your body. Okay, so just nice and slowly. Keep pressing the lower back to the floor. Think about the ribs closing together. Okay, so now for the toughie, I want you to keep your back imprinted. You're going to open your hands back into that external rotation. Now from here, we're going to go into that slide. So keep your back pressing and you're going to try and slide your hands up and overhead. Obviously, don't worry if they're not on the floor. Just take it to where you can do. And then pulling the elbows back in. Keep the ribs pressing down and again pressing up. Open the chest, reaching overhead and then pulling in. Good, 2 more. Keep the ribs closing down and pulling in. Good, last one, pressing overhead. And pulling in. Good, and give the shoulders a little release out there. Great job. Okay, so working a little bit more through the internal rotation now. We're going to come over onto our side. So from here, your side lying position, you want to have your shoulder on the ground. We want to have a straight line from the shoulder to the elbow and a 90-degree angle. So basically I've gone from my back over to my side. Okay, so with this stretch, don't force anything, just be really gentle with it. I'm going to take my right hand and I'm just gently going to press down. Okay, so the shoulder and the elbow stay on the floor and you're just going to take it as far as you can. Don't worry about going all the way to the ground. As you can see, I'm nowhere near. It just depends on the rotation in the shoulder. And then releasing back. Good. So again, pressing down, gentle press through that hand. And slow to release. Good, 2 more, pressing down. And slow to release. Good, last one, gentle press. And release in there, cool. Okay, take a rest out. We're going to switch that over. So spin round to your second side, same again. You want your shoulder on the floor, your arm out front, and then bend the arm up. So 90-degree angle. Left hand this time is going to come onto your right hand. You're just gently going to press. And notice here, you've probably got one side that's a lot harder to do than the other. So really take note of that. We want to try and work out them imbalances as much as possible. So gentle press down. And release. Good, keep the shoulder on the ground. Pressing down and releasing. Good, your last one, pressing down and to release out there. Great job. Okay, releasing through the shoulders there. We've now worked through that internal rotation. We're going to start to externally rotate through the shoulders. So now we're going to come into that crab position. So your reverse plank. We're going to start with the knees bent and your hands facing behind you. So spin the fingertips to face round. Now from here, you're going to press through your heels, squeeze your glutes. We want to think about opening the chest and pressing the hips up as high as you can into that tabletop position. Really open and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slow to release. Good, go one more like that, pressing high, squeezing up, squeeze the glutes, open the chest for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slow to release. Good. If you feel you can, we're now going to spin the fingertips to face into the bottom. Obviously, if that's a little bit too challenging, stay with the hands open, that's fine. Fingertips facing in, we go the same again. So push through the heels, squeeze the glutes, open the chest, hold at the top for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slow to come down. Good, we're going to do that one more time. So press through the heels, squeeze the glutes, open the chest. Think about the chest going to the ceiling for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 to come down slowly. Good, from there release the shoulders, just hugging around the knees and just relax through the forehead. Good, so head towards the knees, relaxing. Okay, so slow to release out. So we're going to finish on our front, guys, a little bit of a strengthening exercise for rotator cuff, as well as really working the mobility through the chest. So if you're really tight through your chest, this is a really good one to practice, and it's also a really good warm-up for any overhead work that you may be doing. So we're going to come to a W to a Y. So I'm going to do a few different alternatives for this one. It is quite a challenging exercise if you do lack range of movement in your shoulders and thoracic. So we're going to start with just an elbow lift. So most of us should find this pretty easy because it's just an internal rotation. So I want you to come down onto your front, forehead rested down, and your hands a little bit wider than your shoulders. Now from here, zip up your abdominal, so almost try and lift your belly button away from the ground so you don't arch your back. Now all you're going to try and do from here is lift your elbows off the floor and then back down. So do that 4 times, lifting the elbows and then back down. And then again, lift the elbows and back down. Keep the tummy tight. Last one, lift the elbows and releasing down. Good. Okay, so now you're going to try and do that with the hands. So the elbows stay down and you're going to try and lift your hands and release. Lift the tummy so the back doesn't arch. To lift the hands and release. Good. 2 more. Lift the hands and release. Good. Your last one, lift your hands and release. Okay, so we're now going to try and take that into a full W position. So at any point with this movement, if you find one of them's really difficult, you might want to stay on that and focus on it. Only progress when you feel confident to do so. Okay, so work to your own ability with these. Now, we're going to start to go into your W position. So tummy muscles zipped up, you're going to squeeze the shoulders lightly back, and you're going to start to lift your hand and your elbow into your W position. Squeeze your shoulders back, try not to have your elbows higher than your hands, so you've got to have them level, and then back down. So lift the tummy into the W position and then back down. Let's carry on like that. So tummy muscles working, lifting up and back down. Good. Your last one, squeeze the shoulders and back down. Okay, so now moving on to the more advanced movement, we're going to start to go from a W to a Y. Okay, so I'm going to do this one kneeling up just so you can see, because it's a bit hard to watch me on the ground. So you're going to squeeze back into the W, you're going to extend out into a Y, you're going to bring them back to a W and then lower them down. We're trying to, at the top of that Y position, to get the arms off the floor. So what you're trying to do is not let your hands collapse down, and that comes from the strength and the mobility through the front and the back of the shoulder strength through the back, mobility through the front. So let's go into your W to your Y. So abdominals lifted, you're going to lift to your W, you're going to open out into a Y, pull back to your W and lower, and then going again. So squeeze the shoulders, lengthen out into a Y, back to a W and back down. Good, 2 more like that. So squeeze the shoulders, open out, bring it back and back down. Good, last one, lifting up, open out, bringing it back and back down. Excellent. Okay, so from here you're going to open your right arm wide, keeping your right shoulder flat to the floor. I want you to place your left hand underneath you and you're just gently going to start to twist. So you roll as far over as you feel you can without letting that right shoulder come off the ground. If you want to, you can take your left leg over to increase that stretch, but it's up to you how far you go. Right shoulder must stay on the floor to get the full stretch though. Good, back to the middle and then changing over. So open left arm, right hand comes underneath, start to twist as far as you can, keep that left shoulder on the ground, and let's take that right leg over if you can. Good, remember here that left shoulder is to the floor. Good, and coming back to the center. Excellent. Okay, nice and easy to sit back into that shell stretch. So we'll sit the hips back. Today we're just going to take the knees a little bit wider and you're just going to allow your arms to come by your sides to release the shoulders. Okay, so take your time here. Take a couple of deep breaths and just relaxing to finish your session. Excellent work, guys. Another one complete. Well done.